skill?
So my daughter goes to Japanese nursery.
Used by, speaking two languages.
She's starting to break that away now. And
Right, and what about when you talk to your kids? What language do you and your wife use when you talk to your kids?
we just use English.
Oh, only English?
Yeah, only English. There's like moments where there's an important thing that we need to say to our kids, and then Japanese has to be used.
Right.
But most conversations are done in English, and it's very easy for me to say that, obviously, being a native speaker.
Yes.
But my wife is not a native speaker; she's Japanese, and her English, she says, like, her English, she doesn't feel as perfect, but it's like, again, it's going back to doing is better than not doing at all. So we just try and we try and we try. As long as the kids can begin, you're giving them the base before they go into education, where it's like mandatory that they start learning English. So you're already giving them a step up by giving them some English to start with, even at the youngest age. And even like a nursery rhyme or anything, just giving them something that they can work with. And then when they go into school, they'll already be at a level that's a little higher than most people around them, and then they can start helping the people around them as well. So I see it as a massive benefit that we also, in my family, try and speak as much English as possible.
Right. Then what about their Japanese? How would you like them to learn Japanese? Because you just told us that most of the communication at home is English. So what about Japanese skill?
So my daughter goes to a Japanese nursery. I'd say her language level is like 70% Japanese, 30% English. I haven't like pushed her. The one thing I worried about is because going to a Japanese nursery, her friends will use Japanese and English is not necessary. And then she comes home and we ask her to try and use English. I don't want her to hate the language as well at the same time, So there's an element of like, I want her to enjoy using it. She can understand a lot, and that's super important. And then once she gets into the practicing mode of speaking, then she'll just go very, very fast. So I think even if you speak and then they're maybe just consuming, kids are like sponges, they can just take the information on, and then when they need to use it, they will.
But I'm sometimes asked by the parents that if there is any possibility, like any risks, their kids can get confused by, speaking two languages at home.
It depends how much you're using it. I mean, if you're using it like we do, there's a possibility. It's really interesting, the development between like a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old, because the way children can understand what is happening changes a lot in that time. So I noticed that between 2 and 4, my daughter was just using, but maybe she doesn't know what's happening. And then between 5 and 6, she's the understanding is being built in, and then understanding that they're two different languages. That's a tough concept even for an adult. So she's starting to break that away now. And she's getting, so I'm using this in this situation, and I'm using this in that situation. English here, Japanese there, and there is like elements where they get mixed, especially at a super young age. But it's not something to be concerned about at all, I don't think, because it's just patience and letting that time ride through, and then always trying to show the difference. In Japanese, this is this, and in English, this is this. And to show that there's two differences, because your children won't know there's other people out there that speak a different language. They won't understand it anyway at the start, so we can't expect them to get everything perfect,
What do you think the best way to teach their kids the new words? For example, if you want to teach your kids the word apple, what do you think the best way?
I think the most natural way most people do is as soon as it's used, then you're showing what it also is. So you could say apple as well, Apple is another word for this. Because even in our own languages, for example, this could be a cup to some people, it could be a mug to another person in English, like, for example. So it's like there's many differences even in our own language. Good and great and lush are all kind of similar words, really. So I think that just showing that there's two words for one thing is not a bad thing. If we're talking about a baby, one word, that's fine. But if we're talking about sentences, we want to try to help them learn the English, but know that there's a different sentence for the word if you're going to use it. I eat an apple, rather than having Japanese and English in the same sentence.
来てくれてありがとう。ちょっとでも